So I wanted to thank tonight's sponsors, MPS Studios, for hosting us and also for providing the camera equipment. And if you haven't been in this facility before, they have several sound stages and equipment rental and a great facility for shooting all of your projects. Travis Petty, who is doing double duty for us tonight. He's on our panel, and he's also shoots a video for us on this. And Travis was with his new company, Shine 49. David Freeman's in the back is our audio engineer, and our event sponsors are Barefoot Wines and David S. Irvin Photographers. Okay, so for tonight, we're going to talk about how to find out how to maximize and profit from new media, getting your projects distributed across multiple platforms using the web, mobile games, social, and other new media. So I'm going to just quickly introduce our panelists, and then I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about what they do. So to my left here is Bonnie Trey from Tribal DDB, and Vicki Harris, who is with PR Newswire.
And checking into Foursquare.
Okay, great. And Brad Keller next to her, and Travis Petty on the end. Okay, do you want to go ahead and start by just giving us a little bit of background on what your companies or what you're doing personally in the area of new media or multiple media platforms?
Sure. I work for Tribal DDB. We are in digital advertising. You can just hug the mic. I'm nervous. So what we do for our brands is we help them take their promotions or brand awareness or products to market in multiple different media, and we have to make it a cohesive campaign across the board. So in these times, that includes all new media. You don't have a campaign without it. So that's what we're focusing on a lot right now.
So I'm with PR Newswire, and I'm the Director of Audience Development. And where traditionally PR Newswire's audience was the traditional media journalists, now it's so much broader. You know, not only do we have these social media people, the influencers and the bloggers, but then there's consumers, because now, and I think the same thing in the film industry, you're out there, you know, branding yourself, et cetera, and you're not just doing it with, you know, people in the industry and others that you might want to distribute your product, but you're going straight to the consumers of your product. So that's what I work with, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
I am Brad Keller. I work with Agora Entertainment right now. I have more of the filmmaker side of things, where a majority of you are, I think. I've been down the road. We're trying to maximize the dollars, trying to figure out how to raise capital for films, trying to how to gain advertisers with the new media. I also own a distribution company called Fireside Releasing, which is dealing with the changing of the guards, in a sense, for distribution. So this is kind of a whole new exciting model, this whole new media and digital world. So I'm in your land.
Travis Petty, Shine 49 Media House. The focus of the new company that I started is really going to be online. It's going to be content as marketing, aka branded entertainment, and delivered online. That's really it's not the future, it is the now, because well, you can watch whatever you want whenever you want to watch it. And if you can find the audience for it, well, there's always an audience for it. You just have to find them. So we're going to be pairing that, of course, with the content.
Okay, great, thanks. And I also wanted to say that Mike Madden and Jennifer Bolt, who were supposed to be on our panel tonight, sort of fell through at the last minute. One is homesick, and the other had a medical emergency with his wife. So thank you to Travis for stepping in at the last minute. We're going to sort of break this down into three different areas. We're going to talk about sort of making your money count and how whether or not you have to give everything away for free on the internet, and then ways that you can measure success, and then possibly going into some strategy tips of things that you as filmmakers in this business can do. So why don't we get started by just throwing it out there and saying, you know, how can you make money on the internet using this as a product distribution channel? If it's on the internet, do you have to give it away for free, or when do you make the jump to mainstream?
Should I start?
Sure.
I think that's, you know, a question that comes up in every industry, not just in film. You know, you go to conferences and the first thing people want to know is, hey, my boss sent me here because we need to know how to monetize this thing. And it's not always possible. It depends on what you're doing and what you're trying to do, right? Although there are companies that have very successfully figured out how to monetize straight, like press the button and you make money off of social media, like Dell, computers. They have a Twitter channel that does nothing but make sales. It worked for them, but it was, they had their strategy and they made it work. Some companies can't really do that. We don't do that. But what we use it for is marketing and branding, and we do end up making sales because of what we're doing in social media. But it's more about the branding and the marketing and the just being available to people. So it depends.
Yeah, I mean, the question is how to monetize it, and it's obviously through advertising. TiVo has made the advertisers choke a bit in regards to the broadcast reach, and they're looking for new ways, and obviously through webisodes and digital platforms, the telephones. It's no secret, your computer laptop is your new remote control. It's just, the HD TVs that are coming out are internet ready. The new 4G phones have audio, video out, so it's a matter of, I want to watch this movie, I'm plugging in my TV, I'm ready to go. So advertisers are choking a bit, trying to figure out how to get involved in this new media. And, the best way to go about doing that is creating content that the advertisers want to be a part of. And I think we'll go a little bit further into how to monetize that a bit, but that you have to get sponsorships and advertisers involved.
Thinking of it more in terms of your product as your brand, as opposed to you making money off of selling the product. There are different ways of quantifying the value of an advertising or a marketing campaign, and sometimes it's not a matter of a direct sale. It's not, I've sold a copy of my movie. It's, I've made more people aware of who I am and converted them into followers or advocates. So one of the values of the way social media and this new media are right now is that it's really open to anyone. But what people tend to forget is that the marketing rules still apply. You can't go out there and force a sale because it's not genuine, and your consumers are going to see right through it. You start a conversation with them. You leverage the place that they are to engage them and make them your advocate. The problem is you say one wrong thing and it's all over the place. So you have to be very careful about the message you're sending. You have to have a plan around it, a communications plan, that while it's planned by you, doesn't seem contrived by your audience. And you build those advocates, and you're actually creating advertisers for yourself. So when you're going in and you don't have this money to make this huge media buy, and I can tell you, these companies that are buying online banners that seem sort of chintzy and in your face, and they pop up and you just want to shoot them down, they're spending a ridiculous amount of money on them. And they're often alienating their customers because it's not genuine. So the social network is a very valuable place for a filmmaker to leverage an audience and make them almost champions of your brand, and your brand being your product.
If I may, I want to mention too, I don't know if any of you have looked into what the filmmakers for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo did, which was to, get a certain number of bloggers. I think they started with 10 bloggers who were influential, who they got to come to a pre-screening of the film and to blog about the film, right? And to say whatever they wanted to. I mean, they didn't say, we need you to blog, positively about our film. But then they also, mentioned when they, with their blog, like, click here, to see like the, a clip of the film or whatever. But those were influential bloggers. Like one of them was Copy Blogger, and I think another one was Pro Blogger. Those are really big in the social media sphere. So when they blog about something like that, they have a lot of influence, a lot of followers. So those followers became interested and went to see what this was about, and also tweeted and blogged, about this film, and got this excitement about this film.
You were talking earlier when we were outside just about South by Southwest and how much just that has changed in the last year. Do you want to just reiterate?
Oh, right, yeah, because like this year, traditionally you had a huge film audience at South by Southwest. This year, actually, the interactive portion of South by Southwest was the biggest portion of the event. And I'm thinking, and some of I was there for the interactive, and there were some filmmakers there and who I spoke to, and they said there really weren't that many filmmakers that were participating in the interactive portion, but they learned a ton. And I'm thinking I'm seeing a trend. I bet next year we're going to see a lot more film people just kind of do both, or portions of, because it's really a valuable thing both for the music industry and the film industry to understand that middle portion, the interactive, and how you can make use of social media and those tactics to promote your work, your content.
Not everybody can afford a big flashy launch or media campaign or a robust Facebook campaign to market their movies. So what strategies can the little guys adapt, maybe from the big people like Bonnie? You deal with big advertising or big brands, national brands. But Travis, what would you or Brad, somebody like that, do that you could do as a little guy to sort of get into this market and use it to your advantage?
I don't really do the film part because I my film professor would hate me. He's here. But where I really focus on is on the commerce side and wrapping entertainment around a brand rather than just creating entertainment and then trying to figure out what to do with it or where to go with it. And so
how do you do that? What are you doing?
Well, you have a couple of components. A, it needs to be something entertaining, truly entertaining. B, for me, the criteria is that the brand actually has to be something cool or interesting. Like I can't make awesome entertainment about dish soap, but I could about Porsche. Right. I mean, you could make some really cool webisodes. Maybe they have to be funny. You could do it about craft. All right, check this out. Craft online. Did you guys see that? There's a whole web series. It's a comedian, and she's doing this comedy stand-up routine. And the thing is branded entertainment. It's paid for by Kraft because she's mentioning all these Kraft products and making all these jokes about macaroni and cheese and all this stuff. Ultimately, somebody's figured it out. Oh, hey, guess what? Let's just take a comedy stand-up routine that's and figure out how to make money doing that in above and beyond alcohol sales and ticket prices at the door kind of deal. So.
But is anybody watching those?
Maybe not the craft, but if somebody was making a web series about, if you guys remember BMW films, okay, I would watch and did watch the crap out of that. Why? Because it was fun, it was entertaining, and it was something that was interesting to me. So that's the thing I look for is brands that ideally are interesting to me. If not interesting to me, at least they're interesting to somebody. Basket weaving is the coolest thing for somebody that loves basket weaving. So if you can find a basket weaving.
So do you start with the subject and try and find brands or product that's integral to your subject, or are you starting with a brand and trying to wrap entertainment around it?
Usually starting with a brand that I think has something cool going on. Like I'm working right now with a custom beach cruiser company. That's a startup here in Dallas, but it'll be a national big company. Beach cruisers are cool. Like they're just cool. If you're gonna have a bike, you should have a beach cruiser because it's cool. So creating entertainment around that is where I would go first. Compared to anything else. Finding things that are personally interesting to me, or at least have a cult following or a cultural kind of like it's fun. It's cool to do this, to hang out with this brand or this product, to be in this world or this little micro world.
If you're not doing branded entertainment like what he's talking about, I don't know if, and it's not a piece of cinematic genius, but it was nevertheless a movie that came out. Forgetting Sarah Marshall a few years ago had an excellent grassroots campaign. They did a lot of stuff that a smaller filmmaker couldn't afford, which is a lot of the street signs and things like that. But it really generated a buzz because nobody knew what it was, but it was so in your face and so compelling. For those of you that didn't see it, they had the campaign was really around this guy, the main character, hating this ex-girlfriend for ditching him, and this whole hate campaign he took out on her. And so these billboards and online ads and Facebook posts were about what he was going to do or what he had been doing to get back at her, and they were very crass and irreverent. But it kind of made you go, God, this guy hates his girlfriend so much that he just spent millions of dollars in media to go out and blast her and call her dad an a-hole and all these things. And so you got dragged in, and they actually leveraged, they created a blog, which is free, that was the blog of